from a destination standpoint, we'd love to see the television.
Right.
TV, that streaming, side of it. So what can we do to help Kate and her team get there?
Right.
And, that's what we want to explore.
Yeah.
What's out there.
And what's it take to get the TV aspect or the streaming like you were talking about?
It's a number.
Is it a big investment?
Kate can answer that better, but I know it's an investment.
Probably a big number.
Pretty good.
Well, joining us today at the table, Scott Dahl, the director of Springfield's Convention and Visitor Bureau. It is great to have you on board. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Before we jumped on air, we were already talking a little bit about the Scheels Sports Park. It's a big deal. A lot of people talking about it. I feel like it comes up at least once a day in some conversation somewhere. What can you tell us about the progress? I know it's been a long time coming and a lot of hard work on your part, as well as a lot of others in the community.
Yeah, it's going to be a game changer for our community. We've been talking about this for 30 years.
Yeah.
I arrived in town in 1996, so we've been talking about it at least that long.
Yeah.
About sports tourism and a sports park here in town, and it's going to become a reality really here over the next year. We're going to have the world's largest air structure, indoor dome. For sports.
The world's largest.
Yes.
Seriously.
For now. It's
wow.
So somebody else wants to be.
Yeah.
Well, so we built
impressive.
50 more feet than they did in Colorado. So, we'll have that title for a little while
that's
anyway.
great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And then the multi-purpose fields that we'll be able to use over. But I think the key to the Scheels Sports Park is going to be the location. It's directly connected to the city. So you can be downtown in 12 minutes.
Yep.
You could be on the east side at about the same time. It's all interstate based. The interchanges. It's very convenient. There's sports parks out there that are in the middle of nowhere,
right?
And we're going to be connected to the city, and the businesses are going to feel that. Restaurants, attractions, and we've got some cool things out there as well from a concierge level that it's going to be a team experience and a visitor experience. So when they get off the fields, they're going to have a different experience, and it's really going to be that cultural experience that we're known for.
Yeah, that's really cool. What's the estimated number of visitors per year once that whole thing is up and running and complete?
Yeah, when you talk about teams and spectators, 250,000 new visitors a year.
Unique visitors,
Wow. Yeah.
250,000 a year.
Yeah,
that's significant.
And you think about this, these are new dollars being brought into our community.
Right.
And that's the importance there, generating these new dollars that can then get recirculated around the community.
Yeah.
But every year, these new dollars be brought in.
Staying in our hotels, eating in our restaurants, shopping in our stores, the whole gamut.
Yeah, and that's really, economic impact when you think about those new dollars coming into the community.
Yeah, and when they did the economic impact study, as this was being rolled out, did they put a number on estimated economic impact?
$30 million a year.
$30 million a year.
That's incredible.
Again, new dollars coming in, $30 million a year.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Those aren't your dollars or my dollars or Brad's dollars. Those are people who are coming to our community.
Yeah, and you think about the market, too. We currently don't have sports tourism, true sports tourism in Springfield. So we're adding a brand new market to our meetings and conventions, obviously our leisure travel that we have. We're the home of Abraham Lincoln, and we're the hub of Route 66 in Illinois.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about Route 66 a lot because the centennial happens in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah. And, a funny story is 2 months after I was appointed tourism director for the city of Springfield in 2018, the Sunrise Donut sign came up for auction.
Oh, yeah.
And I went to former Mayor Jim Langfeld, and I said, I think the city should buy it.
Yep.
And he absolutely agreed, hands down. And we did it. We purchased it for $20,000, and then we started getting calls for my resignation because the city shouldn't be buying signage, right? Neon signs.
Yeah.
And I said, we're preparing for the 100th anniversary of Route 66 in 2026. And now remember, it's 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And A Sign Company, they refurbished it gratis.
Oh, that's great.
Half of it's now at Motorhead's, their Motordome, and the other half's at the A Sign Museum.
Yeah.
And it's fabulous.
cool.
And today, though, you talk about it, as we get closer to 2026, people go, thank goodness we saved the Sunrise Donut sign.
Yeah,
that
that's awesome.
70-year-old sign. It's the casing's 7 years old, original. The neon's all been refurbished by Ace, but
Wow.
thank goodness we kept it in our community. And we have more of those attractions that we've been developing. Shays Gas Station, we reopened the grounds just a couple months ago. So we'll be developing more of those Route 66 assets as we move towards 26. But this adds a new market on the sports tourism side.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's really
So
pretty
I'm
cool.
obviously thinking about, the Scheels area, new hotels, restaurants. What else will be going in out there?
You'll have some retail,
Retail
I'm
too?
assuming.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then will that also affect the rest? Is like the more West End? The more things, because we're gonna have more visitors.
Yeah, absolutely. So you think about the Scheels Sports Park itself. It's on 95 acres, right? There's still 70-plus acres around Scheels that will be developed. And, developers will, they'll roll that out as they come through. But we know that there's a new hotel going out there.
Sure.
We know that for sure. There could be one more down the road. But, we have 4,000 hotel rooms in the city right now. And so they will be staying elsewhere.
Sure.
Currently they have 85 rooms at the Spring Hill. I think the new
Okay, is that what
Fairfield-
they have there?
Yeah, it's gonna be like 95 rooms for them. So that's not enough, right?
Right.
They're going to stay
People be
around
all
the city.
over town. Yeah.
But I think the downtown be popular. We'll have teams that'll want that cultural experience, and so all of our historic sites are downtown. Again, 12 minutes.
Yeah.
They're used to driving a lot farther, so they can. When they're done on the fields, they can get off the fields and really walk to all of our historic sites and be in downtown. And that's going to help re-energize downtown as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I remember our oldest daughter played competitive softball, and we traveled all over the Midwest for weekend tournaments. And trust me, I know how much money I spent every weekend between
still know.
hotels, meals, things that we would purchase, from the local sporting goods store that was tied to that community, whatever. All of those folks that are doing that in other places are going to be coming here, and that impact is. I think people have no idea what that's going to be like.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the conversations is staying affordable as well, right?
Yeah.
So as we get into this and we see our weekends book up, we want to be sure that we stay affordable. So those conversations with our hotels and our community is that we want to continue to be affordable as well. So as our market share grows, we don't want to start gouging anybody.
On
so
hotel rooms.
anywhere around, and those conversations are very positive.
Sure.
I don't think we're going to have that issue,
Yeah.
but we're already talking about that.
Yeah, because you go down to some of these college towns, and a typical Marriott or a Fairfield Inn, you might pay $600-800 a night for an event weekend, like a football game or something. Then on a regular, say, a baseball game night, it's 120.
Yeah.
So
That's that supply and demand.
yeah, yep,
But we want to be sure that we stay affordable.
yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned all the historic sites downtown. The museum, library and museum, is still just killing it, right?
They are.
I feel like I drove by there this weekend, and I was like, man, there are always people all over that place.
There is. They still attract hundreds of thousands of visitors a year. Many of them unique visitors.
Right.
Some are returned, but they still use it as a springboard for our other historic sites. I mean, you think about it. We've got this really treasure in the Presidential Museum where you can go in, you can learn all about Abraham Lincoln, and then you can go to the only house he ever owned.
Right.
Just walk to it.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
it's
think
pretty
about
cool.
that. You go to the old state capitol, where House divided speech, and you can walk right into the same space.
Right.
I mean, all walkable.
Yeah.
And then you take a short john out to the tomb and pay your respects at the tomb. But
Sure.
I mean, that's unique for sure, and it all sets it up at the Presidential Museum, and really what they've brought, and like the goes to the museum. Right, I mean the library is now 17 years old. That goes to the museum program that they have. Every time I watch it, I still am like, is that guy real or not?
Yeah.
Or is that a hologram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it.
I have not.
Oh, you should. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please
it is
get down
pretty
there.
impressive.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All these years later. So Disney had something going on there. Yeah. They were commissioned for that. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Talk about conventions. I don't think a lot of folks know how many visitors we have in the community convention wise.
yeah, absolutely. So we have an entire sales team that's all they do, right? They sell Springfield to meetings and conventions. So we're known as the Destination Marketing Agency. It's really the Destination Marketing and Sales Agency for the city of Springfield. By the way, we're unique in that aspect is we're one of the certified bureaus, one of the few in the state that's a city agency. Oh. And I think that brings a lot of advantage to us. We saw that in 2020 when we had a lot of our counterparts that were reducing staff and reducing hours. We didn't. We were the pedal to the metal all the way, continue to contact, reaching out to our clients, our meeting planners, and I think that really helped us rebound much, much quicker. But that's really in part to our sales team. We have a professional sales team that goes out and sells these meeting conventions. And remember, we're booking these things 2 to 4 to 6 years out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're rarely are we doing in the year type of conventions. There's so much planning that goes ahead of these conventions coming in. So yeah, they're selling years in advance. For example, 26. I just talked about the 100th anniversary of Route 66. Yeah. But from a convention standpoint, we're full. I mean,
is that right?
We that year is looking huge, and I don't know if it has a relationship with that 100th anniversary or not, or it's just our sales team out there killing it. Yeah, selling Springfield every single day. So meetings, conventions, very, very important to our overall $536 million impact that travel and tourism brings to the city every single year.
Wow! Say that number again.
Yeah, $536 million, over $500 million a year to the city of Springfield. Wow. And again, these are new dollars being brought into our community, which are important. And I'll tell you, we add sports tourism, we expand the BOS Center, right? And we will be looking at $1 billion a year in traveler expenditures in the city of Springfield in the next 5 years.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, that is amazing. You mentioned BOS Center. Tell us about that. Yeah. The expansion.
Yeah, efforts along the way, city, county, Springfield Hotel Lodging Association, just having conversations right now about expanding the BOS Center. And really, from my viewpoint, it's because it's the BOS Center is being used as a dual purpose. It's being used for general sessions and conventions. But it's really designed for expo, sporting events, and entertainment. Right. I mean, you know the space, right?
Right.
I mean,
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know the space. So that's really what it's better designed to do. We need a general session room that's modern and updated. They did a great job with the renovations at the BOS Center. Yeah. But we need a grand stage. We need the technology that's there, and we need to be able to have those sessions with some breakouts. And across the street would be great. And we know that county lot will be available once the transportation hub is built. Right. And they're putting a parking deck downtown. So, it's right across the street. Why not connect it? Provide some new space, and then allow the BOS Center, in my view, to flourish as that entertainment, sporting event, expo center that I think it'll even do better. We talk about concerts that sometimes we miss, maybe on a Wednesday or a Thursday. A lot of times that's because they're booked with conventions, right? And they have that single space. So that would open it up for new entertainment to come to Springfield.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, the expansion portion would, at least the conversations that are being had today, would be more for that kind of meeting space, it sounds like.
Yes.
More so the other could just continue or to be used full time for entertainment and sporting events and expos and the like.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. And you can combine the two. So if you're having your general session across the street, you can have your expos at the BOS Center. So it would just allow us more flexibility than what we currently have. But we have the 3 large convention hotels. They have almost 400,000 square feet of meeting space. So there's options all over the city. Sure. We just had to be talking about downtown.
So what kind of things will be happening for the Route 66 celebration? Like, is that a a weekend event? How's that?
So
what will that look like?
Year long.
Oh, the whole year.
Whole year.
Okay. So say more about that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. So we'll kick off in January. Our plans are to tie up with the existing events and have them jump on board. Our large events that we have, the Fat Ass 5K, the Lincoln Presidential Half Marathon, obviously the Mother Road Festival, all these Springfield Mile, the Memorial Health Championship, and have all these events tie in
with them.
I'm sure we'll have our own festival or something, our own event somewhere. That's been tasked to the CV Advisory Board. They're going through that right now, and that's led by Jean Bruner Giacchino. So she's kind of heading that and being the point on that right now. So they're developing that calendar as we speak, but it'll be a year-long celebration. The actual birthday, if you will, for the Mother Road is November the 11th.
Okay.
So it's later in the year. We'll kick it off, first thing in January.
Gotcha. So a lot of those other events that happen every year will just be kind of dual branded in one way or another, tied together with that celebration.
They will. We'll ask the events, especially our destination events, to have it as a theme, that 100th anniversary. So you'll see a lot of tie-in with the 100th anniversary of Route 66 with our existing events that we have now.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Yep.
You mentioned when you were going down a list of some of those events, the Memorial Health Championship.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that, the impact it's had? I know it was, hadn't been that long ago, so probably don't have numbers for this year, but over the years that it's been here.
Yeah, it's one of our premier destination events. We track about 2,000 room nights annually from the Memorial Health Championship.
Is that right? So half the rooms.
Yeah, millions of dollars in economic impact to the city of Springfield every single year. Remember, they're here for more than just 4 competition days, right? I mean, they're here weeks in advance.
Right.
The advanced teams coming in, getting the course set up, the PGA tours coming in, obviously Corn Ferry, there. So it's a very important event for us. It's, Chicago now, has their golf tournament every other year. So you think about that. We have the John Deere and Moline.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have, the Memorial Health Championship, and that's pretty much it. So to have it right here in Springfield and for us to be able to grow that, it's a very important event for us. And I'll tell you, a couple years ago, we went together with Kate Peters, and it was really her idea. We were talking about our sponsorship and, how we can expand that. And she came up with the free grounds admission.
Oh, yeah.
That has been a hit.
Yeah.
It's for us. We've seen a 10% increase in attendees to the Memorial Health Championship because of those free grounds admission. I think it really reaches. It makes the tournament, I think, even more inclusive. For everybody. So yeah, absolutely. I think it's been really good for the city of Springfield.
Yeah.
And do you know time-wise how many more years are on the agreement or contract for the tournament to be here?
Kate would know better. I think it's 2 more.
2 more.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And, we're certainly in for the long haul, especially with the free grounds admission and trying to expand that. I mean, selfishly, from a destination standpoint, we'd love to see the television.
Right.
TV, that streaming, side of it. So what can we do to help Kate and her team get there?
Right.
And, that's what we want to explore.
Yeah.
What's out there.
And what's it take to get the TV aspect or the streaming like you were talking about?
It's a number.
Is it a big investment?
Kate can answer that better, but I know it's an investment.
Probably a big number.
It probably is. I mean, you think about what it would take equipment and labor and just just the coverage itself. I can't imagine it's not.
Right.
But listen, I think there's some potential there.
Yeah.
And I think that we have enough to offer, and I think we can get behind it. Certainly from a destination standpoint, we're trying to identify how do we make that happen, because we put Springfield on TV. It gets back to our old LPGA days, right?
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, it really does. I mean, I remember watching the LPGA, the State Farm Classic, on TV.
Yeah.
And like, that's Springfield.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We're there, at the rail.
And a lot of people out there, too. I remember those days. When I was a kid, I'd come over.
Yeah.
Stay with my grandma and go for 4 days and carry one of those standard deal, the scoring deals.
It just adds to our destination efforts.
Yeah.
And so how do we get to the TV side? So that's what we're really interested in. But we'll continue to grow these free grounds admission. I think she had a home run with her shuttle service. It's less than a mile away. It's air conditioned. Thank goodness for Landmark Ford and, everything they're doing for the tournament and really all the way around. I mean, our relationship with, certainly LRS, Memorial Health and all that. I mean,
some great partners.
It's a team effort, right?
Yeah, for
sure.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. So the rail or the State Farm Classic was at the rail. It moved, didn't it, for a year or two out to Panther Creek prior to the Corn Ferry coming, if my memory is correct?
Yep.
Okay.
And I tell you, Panther Creek's been great host too.
Yeah.
I mean, they've open arms, for not only the LPGA but obviously the Corn Ferry as well.
Yeah, it's to me, every year we go out there, it's an impressive setup. It's a great place to host the tournament. I thought each year it feels like more and more gets added to the experience. And so if a family comes out there with kids even, there's just a lot for folks to do when they're when they're there for sure.
Well, you know, I think they're getting that. Is it 16 or what's the hole of par 3 where they have the
17.
The LRS 10?
Yeah, 17. Yeah. I mean, this year I thought it was even more like a mini Waste Management, if you will, because of the music, the walk-up music.
Yeah, it's a
people
great
kind of,
sight when you're out there.
Getting ruckusy, but still being very, respectful to the golfers when they're putting.
Yes.
And I think the golfers love it.
They do.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, I think
No,
they talk
I
about
agree.
it. I've had a golfer stay with me for 5 years. He says it's one of the best well-run tournaments on the circuit. Especially with the physicals that they offer and all the just the amenities. That
Caddy
are there.
services.
Caddies,
All the things they're doing for the caddies. I tell you what, I volunteered this year as a walking scorer.
Oh, did you?
Yes, and
How
I did
was
the
that?
I
Did
did
you
the
enjoy
shot
it?
link too, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Did both. Both great experiences, and the way they treat their volunteers.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely incredible. And what an awesome experience, inside the ropes,
Yeah.
the walking score. It's busy,
Yeah, sure.
but it's fun.
It's fun.
Did you do that every day?
I did not. A couple shifts.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple shifts.
Gotcha.
Shot link was interesting. Being at the the
So what is shot?
So,
link?
I was just gonna say,
I don't
tell us more
know what
about that.
is.
Yeah, so you communicate with the walking score, and if you got the technology of that.
So you're at the green.
We're at the green.
okay.
So when you're at the shot links, you're at the green, and you're just tracking how far away from the pin the ball is.
Okay.
So as the shots come up, you mark where the ball is, and then you mark it to the hole. And then there's your putting. You do the same. So if they miss, you mark that off. If they make it, obviously it goes in,
Right.
and then you don't have to do anything.
And how do you mark it?
Digitally.
Digitally?
Yeah,
with
through
like a
through a lens, through a
laser or
Yeah,
something?
like it's a laser that's set up. Technology that they have in front of you. That's it's like a pad.
Yeah,
And
you wouldn't even know it. I mean, I don't remember seeing folks doing that.
Yeah,
But they're
they're-
sitting
Yeah, I
right there
didn't
by
either,
the green.
yeah.
Well, we try to be quiet, but once in a while when I see a good shot, I'm I'm
right.
jumping up in the air
Yeah.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
look at that shot, it was really fun. And like I said, I like the walking scoring better. It didn't keep me in one spot.
Yeah.
Now some people don't like that mobility, but I like to walk, walk the holes and kind of keep pace with the group, and that was really fun. I'll do it again next
to
year.
follow a player, whether it's as a walking scorer or as Brad mentioned, the player that he had with him now he's on the big tour now.
Yeah.
But the last year, was it last?
Yeah, I took last year,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was here in 23,
Yeah.
and we followed him the last
he
couple
made like
of days,
eight,
and it was awesome.
8 out of 10 holes, eight birdies and 10 holes, wasn't it? Or
Yeah,
something like
and
eight,
finished, I don't know,
and
second
finished
or
in the
third
top
that day.
2 or 3. It was unbelievable,
Yeah.
These guys are so good.
We were on fire.
It's like playing video golf.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
It is.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You take
Right.
a look at their shots, and I'm like, I don't know if I could beat you on a video game.
Right? I agree.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
mean, they're
I know.
just that good.
The difference
So
is
fun to
putting,
watch.
really.
Yeah, I was going to say, and then you think about, then there's one step further, right?
Yes.
It's crazy because you watch these guys and they're unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's sensational. We're lucky to have it here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, I know we've talked some about your work with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. What about, tell us a little bit about yourself, your career prior to being in this role. I did not realize that you dated this role back to 2018, by the way.
Oh,
it
yeah.
just feels like it was, yesterday when you started this role.
It has gone quick. We lost a couple of years there with the pandemic, so I think it just kind of excelled that. But yeah, no, it's 2018 in my current role as director of the Springfield Convention Visitors Bureau.
Yeah.
Before that, I actually arrived in Springfield in '96 after working 10 years for Equity Hotel Corporation, managing hotels.
Okay. Yep.
In Galesburg in the Kansas City area.
Okay.
And then I was going to Minneapolis, and my wife says, "Are we going to move around every couple of years?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I was living in a hotel when you met me."
Yeah, right.
what'd you think?
That should have been a sign.
And we, we moved to Kansas
Yeah.
City, lived in a hotel. That should have been a sign. And so she said, "Can we get closer to home?"
Yeah.
And remember, these are the days before really internet. I know I'm dating myself now, but
Yeah, sure.
and all that. And my dad called me up and said they're looking for a hotel manager in Springfield. It's the Mansion View Inn and Suites. And I said, "Dad, I'm at a full service Holiday Inn right now. You know what I mean? Like this sounds like an independent." But Randy wanted to get to town, a little bit closer to Galesburg, and so I met Charlie Robbins, the late Charlie Robbins.
Yeah.
And really loved Charlie, and he said, "Hey, come here. I'll add $10,000 to it, and we want you to here to run this property. So anyway, that's how I ended
That's
up
how you
here.
ended up here.
Yeah.
And then we met, Todd and I met him through the Hotel Association, right? The Illinois Hotel Association.
Yes. And so I was there about almost 5 years, and then a position was created at the Illinois Hotel Lodging Association, and I decided to move on at that point and spend 16 years at the Illinois Hotel Lodging Association.
Yeah. I knew you were with the association, did not know it was 16 years.
Yeah. And so, Peerless was an allied member of the association. Todd, miss him.
Yeah, for sure.
We ride around, visiting the hotels together. And
you were really good to us.
They were, and Todd was really good, obviously, for Peerless. And, we had a lot of good times. And so, we spent that time together. And you guys have been on that board ever since. And so we appreciate that. And
sure.
And then, in 2018, I was able to have another opportunity, to come to the Springfield Convention Visitors Bureau, and I decided to kind of make that change at that point.
So you've always been, throughout your career, then involved in the travel. I'm going to use this loosely, the travel industry.
I have.
From hotel to the association to the bureau.
Since I was 19.
What was the draw? Was that your plan, your goal growing up, or was did you stumble into it?
No,
like some of us do, right?
I kind of did. I just gravitated toward it. I was actually going to a community college. Carl Sandburg College in the Galesburg area to be a computer programmer.
Is that right?
Wow. Yeah, this was in 1991.
Okay.
And I just couldn't stand sitting behind a desk.
Sure.
And writing code all day long. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I was less interested in that, and they provided some opportunity at the hotel at that time. And so I was still going to the community college, and the more responsibility I received at the hotel, the more I kind of, got away from the college side and thought I'd take a break. And then I received an opportunity. I was 21 years old to take over the hotel.
Oh, wow.
At 21.
Man.
Offered to live on, and I said, I'm going after it.
Great opportunity.
Good for you.
I started early and have stayed with it, and I just love travel and tourism and everything, hotels.
Is that fairly normal for maybe a younger manager like that to stay at the hotel?
It used to be, not so much anymore.
Okay.
But in the 90s for sure. Because they would build it into your salary. Is what they did.
That was one of the perks of the job.
Yeah, so my starting salary was $19,000 a year.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
And they
but
call it a perk to the job,
right.
but the flip side to that is you're there and available 24/7.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
That's the strategy behind that.
Right.
But young, ambitious, and they took the living cost out of it. So I moved from my parents' house right into a hotel.
Sure.
And decided to go that route, and I haven't looked back. And
That's awesome.
And I love it. Love the industry.
Well, it's
love being
obvious
part of
how
it.
much you love it. You're passionate about what you do, and that's a pretty cool story.
Yeah.
And I was really fortunate to travel around the state for 16 years, make a lot of connections, not only with hotels. We had 500 hotel members, but also with the bureaus across the state, and really getting an inside look on how each bureau operated. So I brought that with me when, I became director at the Springfield Convention Visitors Bureau, because I really had an inside track of what other communities were doing and what their strengths and weaknesses
I never thought about that, but you certainly didn't walk into it green.
No, absolutely not.
So everybody else and what they did and learn from them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we always ask a question before we wrap up of the folks that come on with us. You have anything else before we get to the question?
We got to ask the question, though, because especially with him doing so many different things.
Exactly.
Yeah, we could do a couple episodes of this, probably, right?
Right. So one of the things we always ask folks is if you could go back and tell your younger self a couple of things that you've learned over the last 20 or 30 years, what advice would you give your younger self at 25 or 30 years old based on your life experience today?
Buy Apple. Buy Bitcoin.
We've not had any of those answers. That is
not
good.
clever.
That is good.
Yeah, I would say follow your heart. And I felt like I've done that over the years, so I don't know if I tell myself any different, but follow your heart, follow your passion. Don't chase the dollar. Right.
Yeah.
Chase, what's in your heart, what makes you feel good and what makes you happy. And work should be easy. It should be real easy for you. So do that.
Yeah.
I do actually have a funny story on the Bitcoin thing. And that is in 2010 or 11, I hit a hole-in-one at the Illinois Pork Producers Golf Outing for $10,000.
Oh, man.
And so I got $7,000 in my pocket after taxes, right?
Right.
And I go to my financial advisor. I'll tell you off air who that is.
Okay, sure.
And I said, just found money. What about this Bitcoin thing?
Yeah.
Why not? I had $7,000. I think it was about $100 a coin at that time.
Oh man.
And he said, well, I don't know. It's this crypto thing. It's fairly new. I'm not sure it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
So we invested elsewhere, but guess what?
Yeah.
Bitcoin would have been
Bitcoin. Yeah.
an
Do you
amazing
do the
investment.
math regularly of what it would be worth today?
I try not to.
Yeah, I would stay
But
away
it-
from that. Yeah.
It does get
Yeah.
into my head once in a while. I'll tell you, because I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
it would have been
Oh
amazing.
yeah, I've got a buddy in Decatur, and he was heavy on Bitcoin back at the same time, and it got way down. I think it got down around $8 a share, or something like that. And he loaded up on it. Jack Kiley, his brother, and I mean, he was a ranch in Montana, and not a small one.
I
And
bet.
a lot of other nice things. And,
Right.
I don't
That
think
are
he's
result.
working real hard anymore.
And I always said
Yeah.
it was found money, right? I didn't miss that
Right?
money.
No, exactly.
Yeah, you weren't planning on making that hole in one.
No,
yeah.
no. I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't planning on doing it, so it's found money. So that maybe there's a lesson for you that you find some got found money.
Yeah. Right.
Take a chance with it.
Yeah. Good advice.
I wouldn't say gamble it away, but
Right,
certainly
right.
take a an estimated decision with it and do something maybe you wouldn't do with it.
Yeah. Cool.
I like it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks for the work you're doing for our
thank you.
community.
Thank you guys.
The impact gets. I hope that a podcast in a time like this will help educate more and more folks in our community of what really does go on, because a lot of times folks just have no idea about the economic impact that we have from visitors to our community. So
Yeah, every year, and they roll over every year, and we got new visitors that come in, and that $536 million comes in every single year. So you compound that.
Yes.
That's a lot of money. And thank you for being tremendous community partners. I know you have long time in Decatur, but certainly came over to Springfield. 15 years ago or 20 years ago. And
It's been and Springfield's been very, very, very good to us, and Peerless, and all of our folks, and the opportunity that has been provided here. And we've always said, and I learned it the hard way, is that it is a local first town. And when we weren't physically here, we were just throwing money at this place, because we weren't from here. And once we finally, bricks and mortar, I moved here, we're going to church, doing all those things, buying, people see around the community. It has been tremendous to our family, Peerless family, for sure. So,
well, you invest in the community, and certainly I know the community appreciates it.
without a doubt. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
As well.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good stuff.